It's the Cash Flow Innovators Podcast.
Creative deal structure,
lifestyle, freedom.
Mic check one.
Welcome back to another episode of Cash Flow Innovators. Today we got a fun episode talking about different strategies when it comes to investing in real estate. The main strategies we're going to talk about are core investments, value add investments, and opportunistic investments. We specialize primarily in value add investments, and we'll get into why a little bit later. But first, we just want to do kind of a quick run through on each strategy and a comparison and analysis.
I think clarity in life, and especially in your investment acquisition strategy, is so crucial because it can allow for you to scale it. It can allow for you to network better. When people ask what type of deals you're looking for, you can tell them exactly. So one real estate strategy is core investments. These are properties that are low risk and typically a little bit lower projected returns, because when you step into these properties, they are already stabilized. They're most time fully leased in major markets. They're very well kept. And as a result, when you step into that asset class, you really are buying turnkey. There's not much for you to do. So this is for an investor or a fund. They're okay with maybe a 5 to 10% cap rate, and they're going to buy the property, not have to do much. And management's already in place. And so this is a great strategy. But for us, we want to have a lot more upside. And so Alex can share about value add.
So the next strategy is value add. And these are properties that they already have in place cash flow, but they're not at their full potential yet. So there's some vacant units. There's room to bring in new tenants. There's room to do cosmetic updates, interior and exterior renovations to increase rent, therefore increase revenue. There's also ways to decrease expenses, cut operating expenses by increasing the efficiency of management, placing better management if it's underutilized. We're going to come in there and bring in a whole new system to make it run more efficient and more economically. There's a little more risk and a little more capital expense involved, right? So out the gate, you have the purchase price, acquisition price of the asset, and then you also have capital improvements. And depending on the size of the property, those can be a significant amount. With that though, the idea is there's expectancy for higher returns, higher profits, because you're going to recoup a lot of those profits on the back end as you increase the value and sell the property long term. So you're collecting solid cash flow and then eventually selling down the road and recouping all that forced equity.
Definitely. And the next investment strategy is looking at opportunistic properties. These are commonly known as distressed properties, whether if you're looking at a raw piece of land that needs to be fully plotted out, subdivided, and utilities ran. If this is a vacant building that has not been touched in 5, 10, 20 years. If this is a property, maybe for us, it would be a mobile home park that has no homes on it, or it's a 50-pad mobile home park and there's only 5 homes on it. This is a great strategy if someone has a team around them, if they're willing to take on the headaches that are really following this strategy, and if they can typically provide better returns for themselves and for their investors. If this is your first real estate deal, whether if it's single family or multifamily, maybe it's not best to step into a full distressed property that requires a full team around you to execute the game plan. If that is your first strategy of your property that you're looking to acquire, that's okay, but just realize the risk and potential headaches that could be required to it.
So just to summarize all that, you have core investments, fully renovated, fully leased. They have high-class tenants. They're in high-class areas. They don't see a lot of appreciation in value because they've already appreciated. They're at their full potential, and they're more liquid, right? Because essentially they're always marketable. At any point you could sell out, and you expect to never be in a depreciated state. Then you have value add, provides potential for a little more profits, a little more returns than core investments, with a little higher risk because now you're going into secondary markets, lower quality of tenants, lower occupancy, and renovations that need to be done. So there's a more drawn out business plan that needs to be in place, and there's more asset management that if you're an active investor, you're going to be taking on when you're doing value add. And then opportunistic just takes value add to the next level, much higher risk, much higher amounts of renovation, lower occupancy, potentially no tenants, maybe derelict, condemned, and provide now tons of room for appreciation and value add and equity. So for us, why do we focus on value add? Honestly, that just came from us being active investors. We aren't passive investors. As we started in the single family space, doing wholesale deals, learning how to do the transaction process, how to close on a property, how to inspect a property, how to do due diligence, how to market the property. As that progressed, we got good at managing these properties. We got good at all the systems and operations that went behind it. And so we leveraged those abilities and that expertise that we had developed and started partnering with other passive investors that could invest with us. And, we use our creative marketing strategies and our creative targeted markets and our creative deal structure and the value add approach, which provides great returns for us and our investors. Like Dylan said, you need to take a look at which one meets your risk tolerance and your return goals. Are you wanting to gamble a little bit? Are you wanting to get involved in something that requires a little more development with a little more upside? Are you a passive investor? Are you an active investor?
In this season of life, do you have more money than you do time, or do you have more time than you do money? And typically, to have a great business plan or an executed plan is to find someone with the opposing strengths. So me starting out in real estate, I had more time than I did money, right? I was 18 years old, right out of high school, and I didn't have a lot of money saved up. And so I had the long hours that I could work, and I still do. That's my main focus, right? But I can work longer. I can talk to more people. I can maybe be boots on ground to someone else. But that's the thing that you can look at. If you're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, maybe you don't have the time available to take on a big project, but you have the money that you can deploy in a project that can create some more freedom for you. And so look at that. And then also, do you need cash flow right now? Do you need, if your sole income is real estate, maybe an opportunistic property is going to be really tough for you, because after you close on it, you're not going to receive any money from that property, at least very little potentially, until the value add is fully executed. You just have clarity so that when you talk with the people, they can bring you deals that fit your goals.
A tip, if you haven't started yet, if you're looking to buy your first rental, looking to syndicate your first apartment, looking to buy your first cash flow property, multifamily, manufactured home park, when we're talking capital expenses, acquisition prices, this doesn't have to be your own money.
Yep.
So learn the real estate first, learn how to analyze deals, learn what dictates a good deal, learn cash on cash return, NOI, your IRR, learn all these terms, what they mean, what dictates a good deal, so that then you can go and leverage your abilities that you've now developed of analyzing deals, which these passive investors don't have the time or necessarily want to devote the time to doing. And so if you're looking to get into real estate actively, learn the real estate first, learn how to analyze, start calling on deals. If you get one under contract, you can figure out the money.
And that's such a great point that you bring up there, Alex, because so many people, they're scared to look at their first single family property or their first 50 unit or 100 unit. They're like, man, I have $2,000 in my bank right now. How am I going to buy this property? But I guarantee you, if you find a great deal and you network well, there's no reason that you can't execute that. And there's no reason that you can put a great deal together with some money and everybody can win. And so if you guys are in a position looking to get started in real estate, everybody's like, should I find the deal first or the buyer? Should I find the investor first or the property? You can do them both at the same time. You go and find a deal, and then in the evening, go and network. Make sure you're being active on Facebook to network with other investors, because you're going to need both to be successful in this industry.
Absolutely. Well, we'll keep it short. We'll cap it up here, guys. If you got some value out of this, be sure to give us a like or even a share if you feel so inclined. Hopefully that provided some insight into the different strategies when it comes to real estate investing. Look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Cash Flow Innovators.
Cash Flow Innovators Podcast.
Creative deal structure,
lifestyle, freedom.
Mic check, 1.